So you can get to the YouTube through my link tree. So right now we're streaming on YouTube. I'm gonna be looking down. Yo, what's going on?
What's up, bro?
Everybody?
So I guess we should probably give people an idea of what's going on with this.
They're probably so confused. They're like, all three of our channels, like nobody. Only
what are these dudes doing?
Yeah, what are these dudes talking about?
So right now we're up in Prescott, Arizona.
Yes, sir.
We've been up here since Tuesday afternoon.
Yep.
And today is Saturday. At about 4 o'clock this morning, we woke up, we got prepared, we got ready, so that at 6 o'clock we can go out onto the street and start the Whiskey Row Marathon. So this is one of the hardest. This is one of the 5 hardest marathons in the U.S. across the nation. You know what I mean? Like real talk. This is Drew's second marathon ever, and this is Daryl's and I's first marathon. And
come on, bro. Ice me out.
Come on,
Dawgs.
Ice me out.
Dawgs.
But check it out.
He's a dog.
But check it out. For real though, this was our coach right here. Yo, my man finished top 5.
Top
Top
5.
5. As a matter of fact, he finished top 3 in his age bracket, but top 5. So,
Top 5.
yo, we're gonna be
up for that, bro.
we're gonna be doing a recap on just not only the marathon and the run itself, but also just what we started to notice while we were training for this, because we've been training for this now for the last 13 weeks.
13 weeks. Yeah, 13 weeks training.
You know, like I don't know about y'all, but like I learned. Well, I do know because we've been talking about it all week. We learned a lot about ourselves. We learned a lot of things that are translating into not just our business, but our relationships, our life, our personal development. So, I mean, let's jump into this, man, because 13 weeks ago, this was just first off, how did it even start? How did we even get to the point of running a marathon? Because I know it wasn't my idea. So
you want to tell the story?
I can tell the story. All right. So originally, Andrew and Nick, they decided they were going to run a marathon, right? They're going to run one in Philly, right? And obviously we work on the same team. And I felt a little left out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, bro. So me, naturally, I just start talking shit. I'm like, I'll run a marathon too. And what happens is I sign up for a marathon. I'm very impulsive and I move fast a lot. So I didn't read anything about the marathon. I didn't know what it was about the marathon. I just signed up for a marathon, paid my $100 and told Andrew and Nick, like, yo, I signed up for Whiskey Row. Then I started doing some research. Come to find out, Whiskey Row Marathon's top 5 hardest marathons in the world, or in the nation, 7,000 feet elevation. It's crazy. And Andrew's like, bro, I'm not going to let you die alone, bro. I'm not going to let you die alone, bro. Like, I'm gonna run out there. And mind you, this dude's running another marathon in 4 weeks.
Yeah. November 20th.
November 20th. It's crazy. So that's how it started, right? And then positive peer pressure, right? I'm hanging out with Marlon, talking to Marlon. I'm like, bro, I'm about to run a marathon. What's up? You signing up? I don't even think I gave you an option. I was just like, you signing up or what? And he was like, yeah. A couple of days went past. I don't think you signed up yet. And I asked him again. I said, you signed up yet? And he's like, let me do that right now. Signed up right then and there. And next thing you know, here we are.
It's crazy. I didn't look into any details either. You just sent over the link and you were like, yo, click the one that says full marathon. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, I'm locked in. I didn't look at my calendar. I didn't look at anything. I was just like, I'm running this race. And it's crazy because I'm not really a runner. Like, I don't consider myself a runner.
We transformed ourselves into runners over the past 13 weeks.
Literally.
That's the main thing I was thinking. Like, one of the main things I was thinking as I'm running is just like, literally, I'm recreating myself right now, right? Like, I was just telling them when we first decided to do the marathon. Actually, that's where it came from. It came from when I took that 2 mile run. It took me an hour to run a 2 hour run, and a 2 mile run,
30-minute pace.
And they were looking at me like I was crazy, and I was like, look, I'm not no bitch. I got it. But yeah, man, that's cute. The marathon was today, bro. We just ran it this morning. We all finished. Drew's top 5 in the whole marathon out of 100 people. I'm sorry, 200 people or 100.
I don't know. It was a lot of people.
It was a lot of people. Yeah. But yeah, we got our medals right here, bro.
Dawgs.
This is real gold. Got this from Johnny Dame. He was there. You know what I'm saying?
It was a big deal.
It was a big diamonds.
Yo, but real talk, it's like it's funny. Yesterday we were sitting in the car when we went to go just like pick up some food, and we were talking about, you know, the idea that you have to constantly and consistently recreate yourself, that you're constantly on this mission of you achieve a goal, you become the person, and then you have to reinvent yourself. And oftentimes people think the idea of reinventing themselves is it's weird. People think it's a bad thing, right? Like, yo, don't change, don't ever change, right? Stay the same, right? We've heard those sort of sayings, but yo, that's mediocre. That's average. The average person, like the top 1% of the top 1%, are consistently reinventing themselves. They're consistently trying new things, failing at it, and then moving forward. While we were running this race, like, man, on that run, yo, so many different thoughts were coming through my mind. Right, so many different thoughts. Like I kept telling myself that, you know, in order for me, I have a goal, right? I told y'all this earlier that my goal is to become the #1 speaker in the world, right? The #1, like the absolute best. I was talking to Rashida earlier this week, and she reminded me, like, yo, why do anything if you're not going to be the absolute best at it? So I told myself, I put some stakes, I put some consequence on this race. I told myself, if I don't finish the race, I don't deserve to be #1. Right? I actually put something in there. Like I don't even think I mentioned that to you.
No, you didn't.
Right, but I put that on me, and I actually wrote it down in my journal this morning that if I don't finish, I do not deserve to be #1, because #1 means my word has power, my word has meaning. So if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, which meant reinventing myself on that mountain today. But I knew that I was going out there today to learn about that other self, that person, that version of you that you can't buy that version of you.
Nah, not
right. Like no one can
create it, bro.
Yeah, you gotta go create it. You gotta go find it.
You literally pick what you want to be. You envision what you want to be, and you go create it. Like
we talked about it earlier, but it's like the only way you create that stuff is going through tough shit. Like you don't get it by sitting on the couch eating Cheetos. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen, right? Like going out and doing the marathon today on that mountain, like we said before, like, you know, part of us was going to be left on the mountain. That's exactly what happened, right? The old us is on that mountain, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the old us. This is a whole new person.
Boy back there.
I know where he's buried at, too.
Facts.
Low key, I know where the body.
14, 13.
Yeah, I know it. In fact,
Yeah.
14 is when we start burying the body.
Yeah.
What I kept thinking about is, and I was telling Marlon this, is just, and they were talking about this, David Goggins was talking about this, like, just, we all have a demon inside of us, or like, just that bitch voice is what I call it all the time. It's a demon that it tries to pull you off track, right? It tries to get you to stop doing what you're doing. It tries to get you to be comfortable, get back to doing what you're used to doing, right? And this whole race, with me and him, we're going one-on-one. We were fighting.
Me versus me, bro.
Me versus me.
We said that.
I was screaming that
you're
shit.
not racing anybody else. Like, no matter like what place, like, yeah, they start off by saying that I came top 5. That doesn't matter, right? That race was me versus me.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with these guys. When you're doing something like that, where it like all you're doing is building a better version of you. Because when you're in that tough situation, we started the week off by saying we're not running, we're not training for a race.
Nope.
We're training for life.
Facts.
And that's what all that is about.
Facts.
Big time. And yo, Nick, I don't know my time and pace yet. I honestly, right after I finished the race, I was just so concerned with getting some water in me, getting some food in me, and stretching out. So I still haven't even gone and looked to see what my time and pace were.
I'll tell you, my time, my shit was slow, and I ain't gonna lie. When I ran in, it was 6:30.
Oh damn! Okay.
It's 6 hours 30 minutes. And that's because, and I was thinking this when I was running too. I said the next marathon I run, I'm gonna be way more prepared, right? Like this time, I didn't take it as serious as I should have, right? I wasn't eating the right things. I was missing runs, right? This is the longest run I ever made, like ever ran by far.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? Facts. So like next time, I'm not gonna make that same mistake. So I'll be prepared. But yeah, like we're still dogs. Like we got that shit. And honestly, I didn't even care about the time. It's my very first marathon. Top 5 hardest marathons in the country.
It's crazy.
In the country.
That elevation, the uphill, the downhill. And you know, this was something we were talking about earlier this week. And I want to remind all of y'all that if you're here, matter of fact, if you're here, drop some fire in the chat just so we know who's engaged right now.
See if y'all
I appreciate when y'all show up, like Alexis, Keyshawn, Daniel, Nick. I appreciate that y'all are hanging out here. So drop some fire in the chat if you're hanging out with us. Same thing on IG. I can't see the comments on IG right now, but drop some fire in the chat so we know you're with us.
Facts.
Because here's something that was such an eye-opening moment. Oftentimes people say like, yo, Marlon, I want it. Yo, Daryll, yo, Drew, I want it. Right? And do you really want it? Because if you really want something, and I'm talking like you really want to, you got that like dog desire for it, right? Here's what it means. It means you're willing to go through the preparation work. It means you're willing to do the ugly work. It means you're willing, like this man over here was straight up like, I was joking about it, but like low key, I was inspired by him every day posting content of him finishing his workouts. Not talking about how he's going to go do the workouts, but him being like, yo, mile 1, done. Mile 2, done. Mile 3, done. Seeing Daryll, we had a group chat throughout this entire duration, and we're just constantly posting our times in there, posting our runs in there, right? Doing that preparation work, doing the work that y'all haven't seen. And if you're going to do something like this, if you're going to run the Whiskey Row Marathon, if you're going to run any marathon, trust me when I say you want to be prepared.
Facts.
This man, you prepared us, bro.
Facts.
Like my body would have shut down on that race
For sure.
had you not been prepping us all week as far as diet, as far as water, as far as electrolytes, the way we should eat, our sleep pattern, all of that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is so important. That's like one of the big things I was thinking about on my race, like during the race today, was that like the 400 miles I ran leading up to this race in training, right? Like eating the right way, you know, not drinking, not taking in alcohol, like going to bed and sleeping right, and just literally just breaking down every aspect of my life that I could actually be living the healthiest. And that's why I was like, I'm gonna do this thing, right?
Oh, yeah,
and then I said that last night. I was like, I'm gonna crush this thing, just because I knew I was prepared.
You did, bro.
You know, so being prepared to something, especially like this, something where you're about to like go use all that energy you have in store. Being prepared is huge.
So let's talk about that for a minute. I want to hear from each of you. Like Daryll, when you were getting prepared for this race, what were some of the things that you were doing for yourself for preparation?
I'm telling you, I did not prepare like I should have, bro. Like I told y'all, my game plan on this was just having the strongest mindset I could have. You know what I'm saying? Because I realized like I didn't train the way I should have physically, but I trained mentally every single day. And that's, when you think about it, that's the most important part of it, right? Because once you are able to see, okay, this isn't really my thoughts, this is that other person's thoughts, and you can lean into that and defeat it, right? Then you can just keep going. You can keep doing whatever the hell you want. So, but with that being said, next race, and like just being up here, you guys already know, like I'm on path to completely changing my lifestyle. So like the way I eat, what I drink, what I do, right? That's all changing. You know what I'm saying? So like the next race, like it's not even gonna be.
I love it.
I'm gonna be up there with this guy.
I love
I'm gonna be up there with him.
Anybody can, right? Like anybody
Facts.
can. For me, I think the biggest thing was just like focusing super in on my diet. You know, cutting out. I didn't go out. I didn't drink throughout the 13 weeks. My diet was super clean, like down to the T. I did a ton of research on, hey, what do I need? How do I fuel my body the best possible way? Spent hours stretching, and then I just trained with a passion unknown to mankind. When you do that, man, nothing really can stop you.
And that's why you're top 5, bro.
Facts. And on the real, like that was cool though, because I did start to see the level of preparation, while we were up here, and you were saying like, yo, you want to eat this? Yo, we should buy this sort of food. Hey, we should eat at this time, the day before race day. Hey, we should soak up this much water. Like there was actual preparation and methodical. There's a thought process. There was a plan, which in all honesty, I know for me, that's the reason I finished the race today. If I had gone out and tried to do this race the way I anticipated having done it, where I was going to leverage just my mindset, I was truly in a similar boat to Daryll, where, I was training, I was running, right? But I did not get to fully prepare for this race from a physical standpoint the way that I should have. So you, Drew, came in and really saved me. From my standpoint, when I was preparing for this race, though, what was extremely helpful was going out on some of those runs that I did not want to do. Right? There was one day where there was like a half marathon run, and I did not want to take that run at all. And I woke up, I said, you know what, screw it. I got up at 4 a.m., drove down to the beach because I was in New York at that time, got on the boardwalk by 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was just running, just by myself out there running. I did not want to do that, but that was one of those mental things of saying, I've never ran more than probably, 8 miles, and I just ran, 13.2, 13.1.
Yeah.
So absolutely beneficial going and doing that for preparation. And then I would say the second thing that we did for preparation that really helped me was actually coming up here early.
Yeah.
We came up here on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So a lot of y'all obviously, don't know my life, but earlier this week, I had planned originally to be in Cancun, Mexico, or Rocky Point, Mexico. So I was going to be out there for Caroline.
Wow, dude. Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Right here.
I was going to be out there for Caroline's birthday. Shout out Caroline. And I was going to be out there for Mark's birthday. That's Ingrid's husband. So shout out Mark. And my plan was, yo, I'll just go down there. You know, I'll probably stop partying on like Wednesday. I'll drive up there. Yo, I would have been so dead
It would have been a wrap.
had I done that. So it's like a part of that preparation was making the decision to come and be with these guys, be with these dogs up here early, right? And go on and joining the pack and becoming a part of that pack mentality. So every day, like the energy in this house was fire. It was off the chain.
It was
every
different.
single day. Right. I was waking up and I was able to do my meditation, do my affirmations and all that stuff. And their presence was adding to my vibration, adding to my visualization, all of that. So for when it comes to getting prepared for things, make sure you're also preparing with the right people if you have that ability and capability to do.
Word. I missed one thing. What got me really prepared for this race 4 months ago, bro, I was like 240. I was big, bro. I was big, bro. And I ran today at 213.
Woo.
So, like, I think if I was still at 240, it would have been a wrap.
Yep.
It would have been a wrap, bro.
And you brought up the food, right? Now you're kind of bringing up the same thing, like losing the weight and everything. And if we're going to prepare for something, it's not just like physically, it's mentally as well. And if we're really going to go into something, why not go and take all aspects? That's what I wanted to look at.
Yeah.
Like I want to look at every single aspect and how can I maximize every single part so that we can reach our potential, right? How can we reach our max potential during this race? That's really what I tried to do. I tried to break down every single aspect of it, to like the clothes I was wearing, right? Like literally down to everything, like to this, to the night before, to us make sure we're eating the goos and that we have them for training. Like I looked and I did research. And then not just the goos, but what's the best gels to eat while running, right? Because if I'm going to do anything, like I say it and it's corny, but like do everything with a passion unknown to mankind, right? So if I'm going to eat with a passion unknown, I'm doing everything, right? I'm tying my shoes with a passion unknown to mankind. Because how can it be the best possible way for the marathon? And, you know, being surrounded by great people, that just adds, that 10X's it. That 10X's it.
So let me ask y'all this question. You know, after having just done this race today, again, it was 26.2 miles. We did it at the peak. We're at an elevation of around 7,000 feet. In all, we ascended about 3,400 ascent up, 3,400 descent down. And, you know, we're relatively young guys, you know, so some people might say, well, yeah, you're young. None of you are even in your 30s yet. I want to know, do you feel that anybody can run a marathon and can do the race that we did today?
Bro, I was surprised at the ages and the body shapes that were actually running. Like, there were people who beat me who were 40, 50 pounds heavier. And people also beat me who were 30, 40 years older. Like, I was super, super surprised. But that's what we're talking about, right? Like, when we get older, right, how do we want to live, right? I don't want to be this fat, lazy old guy. I want to be like them. When I'm that age, I want to be running marathons myself. Anybody can do this shit.
Yep.
You got to train. Take it serious.
Well, you got to train and you got to know that it's possible. I mean, we were having this conversation at dinner when people, it cringes me. Like, if, by the way, if you ever come and approach me like this, just know this is one of the fastest ways to get cut out of my life. If you ever tell me that, yo, you did it because, yeah, Marlon, you're young. You know, you're not even 30 yet. If you say that sort of garbage to me, yo, we're done talking so quick, it's not even funny. Like, I might still stay in the room and it might look like I'm smiling at you, but no, I've mentally already written you off. Real talk. And if I see you saying that to anybody else ever, like, oh, yeah, you could do it. Like, oh, yeah, she's 18. Well, that's why she has all the energy in the world. Or he's 50. He's established. That's why he can do. Like, yo, stop using age excusitis as a reason for things not getting done. So today we saw a lot of people. I was running with one woman, Samantha. She had to have been at least in her 60s. And she was crushing it. Yeah, she was crushing it. And at one point, I had passed her. And then, like, about mile 14, she came back up on me. And I was like, and we were going together. And then we wasn't going together no more. Like, she pulled out. And I was like, how is that little body still moving? How? But it comes from, it's up here, and it's understanding the lifestyle you want to live. If you want to make it happen, you got to make it happen.
Like, will to do something.
Yeah. Like, real
it's
talk.
More powerful than that, man.
Again, like today, one thing I got to say, while I was on that race today, my body was getting to the place where it was just hurting. Like every part, my back, my neck, my thighs, my calves, everything was hurt. My fingers, y'all should have seen it. All my fingers were purple. All of them. No blood was flowing to it at some point. All of them were purple. And what was crazy was I found myself like just internally smiling, probably externally smiling as well. Too, yeah. And I was saying, look at this. I was saying, I earned this feeling, right? You can't sell me this feeling. You can't give me this feeling. I can't buy this feeling in the store. The only way to get to this point of feeling like this is to actually go do something, to go put in the work, to go earn it. How y'all think I'm about to step into this week? I'm feeling
unstoppable level, man. Unstoppable level.
I got a question though. Did y'all have like a thought in your head that you just remember that was like, what the fuck is this? Like, why am I thinking about this right now? I had the craziest thought, bro.
I want to hear you.
It's bad funny. It's hilarious.
YouTube appropriate?
It is YouTube appropriate. Because
hold on. Blaze said, what was the hardest? What mile was the hardest? So it was a set. Like there's 4 miles that were by far the hardest. It was mile 14 to mile 18 where you're running straight uphill after you just ran down it. Yeah. And the hardest part about it was like you had to do that 3 times probably throughout the race. But the hardest part about 14 through 18, it was all rocks. So there was no just like flat dirt or flat road. So you literally were trying to hop over and make sure you're taking the right step. So running was super hard because you're like, I'm not trying to like get hurt, right? You had to be very intentional with where you're running. So definitely mile 14 through mile 18 was by far the hardest part of the race.
And funny enough, that's where Samantha pulled out on me. It was that mile, and she told me, she was like, we were talking while we were on the race. She told me she does trail running every week. So if you're gonna prepare for this run in particular, I'd highly recommend finding yourself some trails, especially trails with elevation, not just flat trails. Go and find some steeper trails and just work on those. Go and get your body out on that. Go be out in nature and just get used to building some strong, confident ankles.
Facts. All right, go back to this. I need to hear this.
All right, facts. So I was like, it was probably like 4 miles ago, bro. And mind you, it's just a random thought. Like when you're running, bro, these thoughts come into your head. Like, and it was a bitch ass thought. And I told myself, that's a bitch ass thought. And I got it out of there. It was like, I was like, I could just call it Lyft right now and get dropped off like a half a mile away. Just finish the race.
Bro, we ran by our Airbnb. So for you guys who don't know, right? We ran by our Airbnb, and I was really thinking, like, if it's too late, right? I really could just go right.
I thought
that thought came to me too.
Both those thoughts came to me. At one point when I was going, I was just like, man, like, would it be all that fucked up if I just like towed someone down, like jumped in the car? And I was just like, get that out of my head. And one time where I told myself, like, there's a point where I was like, don't stop running. Like I don't care how slow you're going, you do not slow down to a walk. Like I'm not giving you permission to do that. Not until you get to there's a certain checkpoint I want to get to. So I told myself, you're not stopping until I get to that checkpoint. And there's a point where I had to have looked like somebody's grandfather walking for the first time, like
shuffling,
bro. Like my feet were not coming. If this is the ground, my feet were basically just sliding, dragging across the ground at that point. And what was wild was when I made that commitment, my mind started telling me all the reasons why, like, don't do that. And you start to realize this is what happens when you make commitments. That's where the bitch voice kicks in. Yeah. And this is why you'll hear some people will say this, like, I don't like to have any expectations. Because what they're saying is I'm afraid of making a commitment because I know that voice is going to pop up and I know I'm bitch enough to listen to it.
Yeah. You got to lean into that shit.
You got to lean into it. Excuse me for like cussing so much. I know I normally don't cuss.
Nah, bro. You just run a race like this, bro. You're allowed to do that shit.
I'm just being real. I honestly, there's a voice that does come up and that's your weaker. That's that weak version of you. That's that version of you that's lying to you. That's the version of you that's saying you can't do it. That's the version of you that thinks you are weak. You are a divine being. Facts. You're capable of so much more.
Yeah, facts.
When you think you're at your end, when you think you've gassed and given it your all, you're probably only at like 60%.
For sure.
You got another like 40 in the tank.
For sure.
40% rule, like Dawgs said.
Yep.
I think that part when I was like in a lot of pain was like like down at like around mile 20, 22. Like I'm cramping heavy at this point. Yeah. But I told you like that was gonna happen, right? Like
that helped me a lot.
Bro, it helped me.
It helped me. Not to cut you off, but you said that to me last night, and I kept repeating to myself, it's supposed to feel like this.
Yes.
It's supposed to hurt.
Yeah.
It's supposed to hurt. Like, that should help a lot. Yo, there was actually a point, and I think this is where it all went downhill for me. After the turnaround, right? I couldn't walk. I physically could not walk. Like, I could only run. I could only jog. But I forced myself. It was a hill, and I was like, I'm not running up this hill right now. And I forced myself to walk.
Right.
And then after that, I was just gassed, bro.
Bro, it's dangerous. Like, it's dangerous when you get off run and into walk.
Yeah.
Because then you don't want to get, like, because there were times where I walked and I did not, my body didn't want to go back into run.
Yeah.
It didn't. And I had to tell myself, and I was just like, I had to do the 3-2-1 several times today. I was just like, 3, 2, start moving.
Yeah.
And like my body would just pick back up and just start going. And this is where you start to realize, like, your mind is the one that's in control. Your body is going to give you signals.
Yep.
It's going to tell you things. It's going to tell you to stop. You can't do this. You're too weak. Yo, it's okay to just walk the rest of the race. And your mind is the one that's in control. You got so much more to give.
Facts.
So I'm curious to know from the both of y'all, right? With, you know, having run this race, you know, having finished it, having completed it, how do you feel it's going to transfer and translate into the other areas of your life outside of your physical fitness?
Bro, like, there's nothing that I can't do, I feel like, right now. Like, I feel like I can honestly literally do whatever I put my mind to. And it's facts. You can. You feel me? So, like, and now I just know, like, I'm going to keep telling myself it's supposed to feel like this. Right? Like, that's a mantra to live by. You know what I'm saying? Because shit is going to get tough. In all aspects of life, shit is going to get hard. It's not supposed to be easy. If it's easy, everybody would do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I feel like I won. I won the battle of my mind today. And I feel like that bitch ass dude isn't gonna come back from that mountain until I'm ready to hit some new levels. But now when I hit those new levels, I'm prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? So
check this out. Were you about to say something?
No, I was like just gonna say, like, I love what you're saying, Daryl, and I think it's like gonna propel you, like, already, like, being up here this week talking about, like, yo, I'm just gonna get back to being the dog that I am, you know, and going and doing something like this where you exhaust yourself physically and mentally to the nth degree, right? Yeah. Like, that's what really propels you to that next level.
Yep, right? Agreed. Yeah. So check this out. When I was out there, there's a part where I think we were all listening to the same podcast. Like, we were all listening to the Joe Rogan.
David I don't think Goggins. It was just us either. Yeah. And I asked the other dude, the ROTC guy, and he said he was listening to it.
So episode 1080, Joe Rogan, David Goggins.
Recited too.
One of the first episodes where Rogan was on, or Goggins was on the Rogan podcast. And there was a part that really, really stood out to me. And I want to share this because I want people to understand. Some of you are thinking about getting on social media and sharing your experiences, sharing different things on social media, which is good. I think everybody should be on social media creating content. Like, I'm very adamant about that. You all need to be creating content. Shout out Alexis, shout out Nick, shout out Mike. I see
Alexis content's fire.
Yo, Alexis content is hella fire. Super fire. Yeah. If y'all are not following Alexis Jane Morgan, she's in the chat right now. Go and subscribe to her YouTube channel. If you aren't, I'm telling you, you're missing out. You're watching somebody create themselves at light speed right now. Thanks. Phenomenal. So when I was running, I was listening to this part that really resonated with me, where Goggins was talking about how one time he had been called out to a school to speak, and they had him on stage, and then they also had this, you know, tailored kind of guy who is, you know, they're both speaking on mindset. They're both speaking on personal development, and Goggins isn't saying much, but this other guy, this like professor, he's answering all the questions, right? And he's giving these pretty answers all day long. And this resonated with me because I like answering questions on mindset, and I can give some pretty answers all day long just based off of the books I've read and the seminars I've been to, things of that nature.
I know exactly where I was at on the race when this part came up. That's all I want to say, because it did it. I was like, whoa, like when you said like you can finish story, but like I don't know exactly where I was at during the race. Like, I'm seeing it right now. Like I just reran the race. Like, you talking.
Yo, it's wild. So check it out. Goggins is saying, man, this guy's answering all the students' questions, and I'm looking at this guy. I'm really not saying anything. And what I'm thinking in my mind is, this guy doesn't know shit about personal development. He doesn't know shit about mindset. He's like, I know about mindset because I've actually put myself in those situations. He's like, I'm looking at this guy. He's got a little bit of a gut. He's got a little bit of a tummy. You can tell he's never pushed himself ever. He's never gone to that place. He's never gone and met his own demons ever. But he's out here being the one giving all the answers, right? And oftentimes we see a lot of this. And this was something that resonated with me because I think about this all the time. I had one of my coaches back in the day, not back in the day, it was a couple of months ago. She said to me, Marlon, do you want to become influential? I said, more than anything, right? Because people who are influential changed my life and I want to change the lives of others. She said, all right, do you want me to tell you how you can become more influential? And I'm leaning in like, yo, are you kidding me? Like, this is what I'm paying you for. Like, I've spent a lot of money on you. Give me the answers. She said, you will become influential when you learn to take your own advice. And so while we were running today, and I'm thinking about this, listening to Goggins talk about how the reason he knows about mindset is because he put himself through some shit. He actually puts himself through these tough situations and then he keeps pushing. He doesn't stop. He doesn't back down and he doesn't try and philosophize it, right? He doesn't try and theorize it. He actually goes and lives it. So for yourselves, I just want you to ask yourself, in all honesty, like, I'm not here to judge you, but I want you to judge yourself. Are you living by your own advice? Are you understanding who you are by putting yourself in those situations that force you to grow? And when you're in those situations, real talk, are you backing down or are you stepping up? Because this race was an opportunity for us to step up. We knew going into this, it was going to suck. We knew that. In fact, we talked about it. We said, yo, I can't look forward to it enough how terrible this is going to be because it's going to be an opportunity for us to meet our other self.
Facts.
Yo, just on that, like, did you think it was worse? Like, was it worse than you thought it was going to be?
On the real, it was not like it was bad, but like I always anticipate, real talk, I really anticipate things being much worse in my mind. And I learned this from back when I used to do parkour. And funny enough, he even talked about, David Goggins was even talking about it in the podcast, where in parkour, so check it out. You guys know parkour, that's rooftop to rooftop, heights, things of that nature. We used to have things where you're getting ready to go and do a jump, you're getting ready to go do a skill. It's potentially dangerous and you can get hurt. And what would happen is thoughts would flash into your mind, like right before you're about to jump, right before you're about to go. The last thing you want to have is your concentration being taken away when you're about to do something slightly dangerous. So I used to think like, I used to try and suppress the thoughts and like, nah, don't think about that. Don't think about that. Don't think about that. Instead, what I learned was I actually asked myself, all right, what's the worst case scenario here?
Yeah.
What is the absolute worst case scenario? Right? To me, falling off the edge of a building, hitting the ground, cracking my skull and dying. Real talk. That's the worst case scenario with some of the stuff I was doing. So then the question became, how do we avoid the worst case scenario? So today for the race, when I was asking myself, or last night really, what's the worst case scenario? And I was like, yo, the worst case scenario, real talk, would be falling off the edge of the mountain. All right, cool. How do we avoid that? Yo, real talk, let's stay a little bit on the inside. But then the second worst case scenario is like, yo, me cramping up like crazy. Well, you took care of that with the food. And then the third worst case was like not finishing the race. And it was like, well, that's not happening. That's just not happening.
Yeah.
Why do you ask, man? I'm curious.
Oh, why I ask is because that was tough.
That shit was hard, bro.
And I thought like these guys, we talked about like the preparation, everything like that. That was harder than I thought it was going to be.
So
not that I thought it was going to be easier by any means, but like just seeing like the people like struggle and like, dude, it was brutal. Like I think the biggest thing was like the ground not being flat. That threw me for a loop.
Yep.
Because I was like, okay, I can just grind this out. But now I'm not even thinking about grinding this out. I'm thinking about, okay, making the right step, like doing all those things, because that was a big part of it, right? So yeah, it was definitely harder than I thought. But I love that, right? You expect it to be hard, but that's why we did it, right? We did it because it was a top 5 hardest marathon. It was gonna do what it did to us, and we were all excited for it.
Yeah, bro. There was a point. It was definitely way harder. I was downplaying the shit a lot. Like I was like, man, this shit is easy. But I mean, I think that helped me a lot too, though, because it's like I just went in there with the confidence, like I'm finishing this race regardless. And I was talking a lot of shit, which means I gotta finish it no matter what. I don't care what place I come in. I don't care how much time I run it in. I just gotta finish. Yep. But yo, did y'all see the part on the track where it was like tire marks that were like 3-4 inches deep, bro? Like dude, that shit was bad, bro.
Because like you were running like 26 miles, but then you're swerving in and out of the lanes because but like that's what it's about, guys. Like find yourself some friends. Like I'll tell this to everybody who's watching. Find yourself some friends that are willing to do some tough shit with you.
Facts. And
you'll grow more than you could ever imagine. Find those people and bring them and just ask them to be in your life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just to try to bring them in there and don't let them leave your life, because that's how you really grow as a person. And that's what will elevate you in life, in business, whatever you're trying to do. And I promise you that.
And to second that, right? Like, and I don't know about y'all, but I feel like our bond is insane right now.
I love you.
Like we literally just ran the fucking one of the hardest races in the nation together, bro.
I was just thinking, I was like, yo, I got brothers.
Facts, brothers.
Like Drew's a new brother, you's already a brother, but the bond's got even closer. Like it's crazy. And what's interesting is upon that race, upon not knowing what the terrain was necessarily going to be like, because we tried doing some visualizing, we tried doing some like watching some videos to get used to what the trail might be, but nobody was looking down at the ground. So we really, in those videos, I didn't see anything of what the floor would be like. And you had to adapt live on the spot. Like we could have been like, man, I wasn't prepared for this. This requires trail shoes. I'm not wearing trail shoes. I'm wearing road shoes. Man, forget this. They didn't tell us this in the instructions. This wasn't on the website. But low key, that's what some people would do. Because matter of fact, I honestly think, like Daryl, I think you're right. I think there's a lot of people that didn't finish today.
Yeah, there's a lot, bro. Because I know for a fact.
Yeah,
for a fact, I passed a lot of them, bro. They didn't come.
There was a lot of people because at some point I was just like, where? So I was like, I remember seeing a lot more people at the start. And like throughout the race, I'm like, because there's a point, because it's in and out, you at some point you do see everybody. And I was just like, there were more people than what I'm seeing right now.
For sure.
Like some people turned off at like the 5K mark. I feel like early. To
bring it back to that Goggins podcast, one of the biggest things I got from it, and it's actually a reason, like my mom, y'all see my mom gave that icy hot stuff. I told her to take it back because what he said in there, he's like, he finished running this crazy long run, right? And he was
San Diego one day.
Yeah, he was dying, right? And everybody's like, no, he needs to go to the hospital. He needs to go to the hospital. And he's like, no, I need to feel this pain. Like I need to embrace this pain that I just earned. Just earn this shit, right? Nobody else can feel this pain unless they just ran this marathon. They have no clue how we feel right now. Right. And we just gotta embrace it. We earned this. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny. That's actually low key why like I don't take Advil and stuff like that. Like when I'm feeling like a certain type of pain, because I want to feel the pain and not numb it. Because then I don't ever want to feel that pain again. So what do I need to do so that next time I don't feel this again? Is there more preparation work that I need to do? Do I need to eat healthier? Is there something that I need to do versus just numbing the pain afterwards and pretending like it's not happening?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I think if we run this race 10 times, you're gonna feel that pain 10 times.
Because homeboy that came in first, man.
He was zooming. I know he felt that too, bro.
I don't know, man. Like on the real, I think when you put in that sort of level of work, like I think we're putting on limitation on him. Because when I look at his face, he was chilling.
Yeah.
When I saw him coming by, he was. In fact, he was so chilling that he looked over and he was like,
"Yo, that dude's savage, right?" But you do feel like you'll hear like Goggins and campaigns like they'll get done running a 20-mile and they'll be like, "Bro, we're hurting." Like,
that shit hurts. Bro.
Yeah, like we're hurting.
Right.
But how fast you can recover. That's the biggest thing, right?
Facts.
That guy just is going to be able to recover a lot faster.
Yeah.
Because of his preparation and his body's used to it and everything like that. That's funny, man.
Bro. I mean, so what's interesting too is, again, like a part of this race, like it really wasn't a race. A part of just like what we did today really was for the sake of a few things. One, it was creating a deeper connection. Right, like we talked about that at the beginning, like even like Tuesday when we were driving up here, we talked about the fact that if you got friends, if you got business partners, if you got people you're intimate with, like relationships, and you haven't gone through some tough times, look, I'm telling you, you just don't know the person yet until you've gone through some stuff, right? And I'm not telling you to go and purposefully sabotage, but go ahead and like put yourselves in something that's going to be a struggle. Like we were talking about, like low key, we do the hiking test.
Yeah,
like fellas. If you're gonna go talk to a new girl, if you're gonna talk to a shorty, take her out on a hike. Take her out at minimum. That hike needs to be at least like 5 miles at minimum, right? Because what you want to see is, does she start complaining, right? And ladies, do the same thing for your fellas, right? But take the people out on a hike. And low key, this is not just an intimate relationship. Do this with business partners, right? Zach Keeves, one of the largest fix and flip investors in Phoenix, Arizona, he told me, because we used to go out on hikes all the time on Sundays, and I said, yo, Zach, why do you do these? He says, because a lot of people want to partner with me because I'm so successful in business. Where I've gotten to in my business, a lot of people want to partner with me. He says, I will not work with a person until they've shown up to a Sunday hike and I've gotten to know them. And what he does is he takes you up and down once as a walk, and then the second round, it's a run. Right. And he doesn't say you have to come with me on the second round, but he's also low key in the back of his head seeing who's coming with me on the second round. He's paying attention to this. He's paying attention to how you were responding, how you were reacting. Were you complaining at any point? Were you friendly? I
love that.
Because you got to know that.
I know for a fact if any of us wouldn't have finished the race today, we would have been looking at that person, differently.
Different. It would have been real weird. Like it would have been whoever didn't finish the race. It would have been real weird. And
weird as hell.
Real awkward.
Yeah. Like you still coming to the house?
Really, that was for winners, bro.
I mean, I guess like you got the floor out there. Right?
Yo, Vlay asked us, what's a marathon? What
marathon is
well,
next?
You got your marathon up in November.
Yeah, Vlay, I'll see you at my house, man. I'll see you at my house. We'll go do this thing.
Real talk.
Is that the one you won?
What?
Is that the one you won? The Philly one?
Nah.
And for me, I mean, honestly, like this was my first marathon. I don't know anything about marathons, but me and Drew were talking about it. I'm gonna start picking these up. It's like not for nothing. It's not even about the marathon. I really could care less about the marathon. Like the medal's cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of fun to have this, but I didn't do it for the medal. I'm absolutely obsessed with my personal development.
Facts.
Like I don't care about anything more. Like it's probably God, personal development, family, and I put my personal development before my family. As crazy as that may sound, I'm not telling you need to do that, but that's just where I'm at, because I believe if I take care of my relationship with God and I take care of my relationship with me, that puts me in a position to show up for my family, my friends, my relationships, and then my business. Like that's where I'm at. So these marathons, this running, the training, the preparation. I mean, after every run in preparation for this race, I was having new epiphanies that were helping me with my business. It was helping me focus on what was important. It was helping me push through the days that some of them could have been long. It was giving me the endurance I needed, not just physically, but it was also physical. Like I had more physical stamina, y'all. Facts. I started prioritizing my sleep way better. Now, thanks to Andrew, I'm about to start prioritizing my diet.
Facts.
So the next marathon, I don't know when the next one is. I'm going to have to sit down and look some up and see what's going on. I'll probably look to run one in the wintertime, though, like probably in December.
So me personally, I'm looking to run one in Q1 early next year, just because I want to get on a different level of prepared. And the way I look at it, we just ran a hard ass fucking marathon. The next one needs to be really, really hard as well. Like I just want to keep challenging myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I really don't want to just run. I don't know. I'll look it up, but I really don't want to just run like a straight marathon. Like I like the hills, and I want to see how I progress. You know what I'm saying?
But also, like to caveat off of that, right? Like we ran the top 5 hours, right? So now you're limiting yourself. You can only run 4 more, right?
I mean, I'm not saying it has to be a top 5.
I was thinking that.
But look, it doesn't have to be top 5, but it has to be a badass race that people.
Yeah, I think all marathons are low key kind of badass.
They are, but some are way better than others. Like this one, you tell somebody you ran Whiskey Road, they're gonna be like, damn.
Yeah, that's true. But also, like, you're gonna see by challenging yourself, like by getting in better shape and by like preparing and eating right and being the new version of yourself, is like, when you go smash the next marathon, no matter if it's literally like around a 1 mile track at 0 elevation, like it's gonna be a different DE. I'm
gonna start setting time for myself now. I'm gonna start setting goals with it, because like my goal was simply to finish the race.
Right.
Like, that was my goal. And this guy started messing with me beforehand. He started messing with both of us, telling us like, yo, if you don't finish it under 6 hours, it doesn't even count. Like legally, like they don't even count it. Like marathons have to be finished in under 6 hours. I was like, wait, what? I was giving myself all day to
Bro,
finish this.
I asked him. I felt like I sounded so disappointed at the end. I was like, "Yo, so this race really didn't count, bro." And Drew was like, "No, I was just
Push your friends, guys. Push your friends when you know they can do more. Push your friends.
I real talk. I really like prepare like in anticipation of coming up here. I was just like, man, all right, we're starting at 6 a.m. I mean, it's not going to get dark till 6 p.m. I might be crossing the finish line at like 5 o'clock, but damn it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, but it helped. It helped because while I was running, you know, I became aware of the clock. I didn't have a watch or anything on me, so it was just asking other people, or just on occasion I'd hear my phone go off and say like, you know, this amount of time has passed. And also low key starting the race. Yo, so starting this race right before it starts, I'm fine, I'm good. Out of nowhere, oh shit, I gotta go take a piss. I was like, I just got like a little nervous. I was like, I gotta go take a piss. Daryl's like, bro, the race is about to start. I was like, I gotta go take a piss. And like, I run off to go take a piss. As I'm opening like the porta potty to step in, I hear gun goes off. Everybody starts running. I'm like,
It was like 5 guns, bro. She was loud as
and then like I pop out thinking like, damn, I'm about to be running this race by myself from the start. And then I see Drew right behind me, and I was just like, "You the real MVP, dog."
Hey man, like I'd rather get it done right before, because like if you had never ran a race before, like you have a bib. Show them your bib real quick. It's right there. And yeah, so you get your bib with your name. Then on the back of it, it has your tracker. So the race can start at 6 o'clock, right? It started at 6 o'clock this morning, but your race doesn't really start until your bib crosses the start line.
Yep.
Right. So like I was like, yo, Marlon, we might as well, like, I was thinking in my head, I didn't even say nothing to him, but I was like, yo, that's actually smart. We might as well just like piss right before the race so we don't have to stop as early on.
Yep.
It's just strategic, right?
I was surprised. I didn't think I was gonna have to pee at all during the race. I ended up peeing like 3 times.
Really?
Like, bro, it was crazy. Like I peed right before the race started. At like some point, maybe like mile 5.5 in, like I was like, man, like I gotta pee. Like I was carrying it with me for like 3 miles. I was like, dang, like this feeling's not going away. Like I need to pee.
Yeah.
I even low key, guys, I thought about peeing on myself while I was
bro, same.
I
I was
was
like,
like,
like 7, 8.
Just like step off to the woods.
I was thinking about it, so I was thinking
ended
about
up
it.
stepping off into the woods.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember at the beginning of the race, they said, please don't pee on anybody's property. And like we were passed by, and like so I waited. I found one guy, he had a really nice long driveway, and I was like, I'm gonna pee on this driveway.
Yeah.
What stopped me from peeing outside? I was just thinking, well, what happens? What if like a girl just runs by while I'm pissing? Like I don't want to get no charges or nothing, bro. Like so I'm good. But I would like when we were at the highest point,
Yep.
right, and they had a porta potty up there. I really had to take a piss. I go over there, door's locked, somebody's in there. I'm like, fuck that, I'm not waiting.
Dude,
So that's what I was thinking about. Just I was about to really just piss on myself and just keep running.
Yo, but that's like another element to the race that people don't even think about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
It's like, oh, like I'm just gonna go out there and do this. Like if you're really prepared, right? It's like, okay, am I gonna have to take a piss? When am I gonna take it? Everything is very strategic when it comes to it. But that's funny that both happened to both you guys.
Yeah, no, it's like that happened, and then my shoelaces came untied 3 times at the beginning of the race.
That's terrible.
So I had to stop, and I was just like,
You got triple nothing back.
and I started, I'm not gonna lie, like it started to get in my head a little bit. I was like,
Bad.
is this a sign?
For sure.
It's like a bad luck sign. And I'll just say, yo, get that out of your head immediately, tie your shoe, get back up, and keep moving.
Yo, honestly, man, I knew we were good once I saw the Lambo.
Yep, facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
It's our guardian angel, bro.
Facts.
Yo,
Tell the story about the Lambo.
So check this out. Throughout this week, while we've been up here in Prescott, we've been going out for runs, and we've been hitting these runs in the morning time. And maybe what was it? Wednesday morning, we're out for a run going through downtown. It's what, 6 o'clock in the morning. And what do we see? We see this pimped out red Lambo SUV. Right? This is
it yours?
Yeah, yours.
I mean, these cars are expensive. I'm talking like
over 300.
Yeah, over 300K. Like crazy. Like we're talking over $250,000 on a car.
Cherry red paint.
Cherry red. So I had to run by it.
Nice.
It's an older gentleman and like his companion. I don't know if it was his wife or whatever, but it was an older man and an older woman in the car. And we run past them. And on the way back, like we loop and we're coming back and we see them just still in the car, just chilling. So, just give them a little head nod, but we don't want to interrupt the race or interrupt the run. So we keep going. Then the next day we're out running again. And what did we see? We saw him I forgot where we saw him. We saw him again.
Yeah, we saw him again.
I thought y'all were allowed to eat.
I think that's when we went to go get Chipotle or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yep. So when we went to go get
He was
Chipotle,
driving past us.
we saw him driving by again, and we are like, "Yo, this guy in a Lambo, like something's going on." So we were just like, "Yo, we need to figure out who this guy is." In fact, tonight we're going to be on a mission. If we go out in town, I'm asking everybody, "Yo, who's the guy with the red Lambo? I want to know who he is."
He's known in this town for sure. I know. I'm starting to think that he just wakes up early and just drives around the Prescott, the Whiskey Row all day, just so people say.
Bro,
I told Marlon, I bet he owns Whiskey Row. Like, I bet he owns all those storefronts.
He probably does.
That's $300K ain't nothing.
Yeah,
somebody's got to own it.
Yeah.
Someone. So we see him. So today, now we're starting this race, right? And we're moving, and it's early, and like there's some diesel hills in the beginning.
Yeah.
And as we're going, like everyone's probably getting in their head. I know I'm getting in my head, like, man, what the hell did I sign up for?
What the fuck?
Like, this is my first
marathon.
hill,
bro.
And not only is it the first marathon, like these hills are already making me regret this. And we're not even at half mile.
We're not even at the mountain yet.
Not even
Bro,
at the mountain.
This is a street hill, bro.
Yo, that was scary. When I saw the street hill, in my mind, I'm thinking, like, yo, y'all ever like do something and you're just like, all right, you know the hard part's gonna be hard, but you're thinking at least getting to the hard part would be like doable. And then like, of course, like if it's getting to the hard part, that means this has to be easier. So then when we approach what should be the easier part, and it's just like you look like my head was cranked back like this, and I was just like, yo, and I knew something was wrong when the other people who were locals started saying, this don't look like fun. And I'm like, all right, so it's not just me. But what do we see? We see homeboy in the red Lambo. He's just coming down. And we're all at different places. So we weren't even together when we saw him. So we each independently saw him. And we just all knew, like, yo.
We all had the same thought, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
We're going to have a good day.
It's going to be a good day.
Facts. I just started smiling when I seen him. It just laughed, bro.
Yo.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
This guy's everywhere.
So Nick said, how many stops did y'all take at the water stations?
Can I answer this first?
Go ahead.
I skipped the first one and hit every one after that.
Really?
Hell yeah. That's the only one I skipped.
And there was a stop every mile and a quarter for people. A mile and a half. There was a stop every mile and a half for people who were listening.
Bro, those water stations saved me, bro. Like it wasn't too much water, so it wasn't bad. Like I didn't feel bloated or nothing like that. And I wasn't even finishing all the water. I was just drink a little bit, throw it away. Those oranges came in clutch.
Oranges are fire.
The banana almost fucked me up. I took a bite of it and threw it away.
But how about mentally, Daryll? Because I told you this before. I was like, just get to the next water station.
Yeah.
You know, like that was like one of the things. Like sometimes you have to just set that next destination.
Yeah.
So, like when you're going to run a marathon, you don't think about, I got to run 26 miles. I just got to run 1 mile at a time. Yeah. You know, so it's like get to that next water station. You can take a little break. You can rehydrate. Boom, you're back in the running. For me, I didn't take any stops until mile 18. Mile 18 was my first stop. Again, I ran with a water bottle in my hand, like my Nathan water bottle, like it's the best. And I had electrolytes in it. So that's what I was running with. And I was really just so focused. I didn't want to stop. Right. Yeah. I got it to mile 18 after that like terrible stretch, and then I hit like 3 on the way down, just I was cramping like crazy. So it was just like bananas and Powerade and then water, just trying to refuel.
Yep. And for me, I think I hit almost all of them. The first one, like I was going to run past it. And I was just like, you know what? Low key, this was my thought process. I'm like, I always watch those marathons on TV and I always saw how the people grab the cup and do this. And I was like, I don't look like an idiot later in the race. I need to practice right now. Bro. Yo, I grabbed the cup. The shit was like water shaking everywhere. I tried to throw it back. I'm like choking on it. I'm like, yo, it was bad.
Bro, nah, that's funny because that is facts. The first water that I took, like it was so awkward, bro. He just handed it out. He just has his hand out here. And he has his hand out for a minute. Like I'm like a good like 500 feet from this guy. His hand's just out. Like, so I get up to him and I'm moving. And I had to like start shuffling my feet again so I can slow down. And I just grabbed it and I wasn't trying to spill it. And I remember you said squeeze it. I just squeezed it. Just threw it away.
That's what I learned. You squeeze the cup. Pro tip, squeeze the cup. throw a little back of what you need.
So,
And then like I filled my mouth with the water, and then based off how much water was in my mouth and how much I wanted, I spit out the rest and then swallowed what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
that's it. And you know, with those people, all the volunteers, like shout out to all of them. Like, you know, so many great people out there, like people with signs, right, encouraging you when like times are tough, right? Like that motivation, it does help. Like it does help, you know. But yeah, all those people helping out, feeding us along the race, you know, giving us water and hydration. No, it's great vibes, really. Like it's just so different. Like especially when we play team sports our whole life, right? So then to come into running where it's literally just like you versus you, but everyone's so encouraging. Like there's little kids, bro. There was a little kid that was there when I started the race outside his house, and he cheered me on when I passed his house for the second time.
That's lit.
You know, and it's like you're the man for that. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask because you brought up the team sports, and I feel like we were kind of sticking out like sore thumbs when we ran past each other because everybody else is in their head. Right? Yeah, everybody's just focusing on themselves, right?
Yeah.
I run past Andrew. I forget what that was. I was like what, like mile 12?
Yeah,
11,
you were mile 12. I was
on mile 11, 12. You were
15.
Like mile 14, 15.
Yeah. I see Drew. I just start snapping. I'm like, let's
Screaming.
go! You're a dog! And I'm still running. We're just running past each other. I don't even know what he said because I have headphones on. I had no clue what the hell he said.
I'm just screaming. Like, I'm super. Like I'm amped up, right? I'm amped up at this point. And there's people like at a water station, like literally right past Daryll, and they're like going crazy. Like, they're like, what? They're screaming too now, and it's just awesome. But it's like that's what it's about. That's what it's about. But then I saw Marlon like a little bit after Daryll at the time. And Marlon was just like zoom focused in. I was like, yo, I hope he doesn't even see me. You know, because he was like so locked in. I didn't even want to break his focus. And I was like, you know, I was just giving the thumbs up. And it was just like, you're a dog.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's what it was.
I seen you. I started snapping again.
Yeah, he started snapping and like he pulled me out because like that was the last part, like that last like uphill before hitting the turnaround. And like when you did that, bro, I started moving.
Yeah, you caught up, bro.
Bro,
you
gave me so much energy in that moment. I was just like, yo. And the girl I was running with at that time, she was just like, yo, you bounced out on me. And some dude behind us, I heard him. He was like, yo, y'all got too much energy. And I was like, yo, you don't even know.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest things I wasn't anticipating. I kind of thought it would happen, but like because so much of the race, you end up breaking off into like what you said, Drew. You end up breaking off and running your own race.
Yeah.
And on some points, you're going to find you're running it with other people who are running the same race as you. Other points, you're going to be totally by yourself.
That's what it gets
and tough. Having those people on the side, like having those volunteers, having those people with signs, I mean, you start to learn in those moments how powerful positive energy actually is.
Facts.
When you're getting totally exhausted and you think you got nothing left in the gas tank, and it just takes people cheering you on. Like if anyone's never played team sports or like anything where you've had an audience, a crowd, like you don't know like how powerful it is to just have an audience. Like having an audience that are rooting for you, crazy powerful. Crazy.
Thank you.
And it's just you.
Yep.
You know, like all that energy is going right to you. I think Nick made another comment down there.
What do we got? And I think, here we go. He said, oranges, bananas. What else was there? Water and Gatorade.
Water and
Gatorade.
Oh yeah.
So it was a powerful event. I mean, would you recommend people to go and run a marathon?
Yes.
100%.
100%. So.
Only if you want to get better. If you want to better yourself.
Yeah, only if you want to be like an elite human being.
Yeah.
If you're okay being mediocre, then it's cool.
Stay on the couch.
Yeah. But listen, if you're watching this and you're like, yo, there's no way I can run a marathon, right? I'm not even gonna tell you to go run a marathon. Go do something.
Facts.
Right? If you think you say, listen, Andrew, I want to go run a 5K. Sign up for the 10K.
Facts.
You don't just have to go straight to the marathon, right? I get it that these guys did it. They're dogs. You're a dog too. It might take you a little bit longer to get to that point though. Right? So like, don't compare. Like we all said, like this race was me versus me. It was Marlon versus Marlon. It was Daryll versus Daryll, right? That's what it is. So if you're going to go ahead and sign up for a race, right? If you're thinking about the 5K, sign up for the 10K. If you're thinking about the 10K, sign up for the half marathon. And if you're thinking about the half marathon, then you sign up for the marathon and you go crush it because that's what it's all about. You versus you, run the race and do your thing. And you'll learn so much about yourself. You're callous in your mind.
Yep.
Facts.
Callous in the mind. Yeah, because when I signed up for this, truth be told, and I'm a pretty confident person, I didn't I didn't have faith fully that I was going to be able to finish this race. I'm being 100% honest. Like when I initially signed up, right? So I was very unsure about it. I was like, yo, what did I do? Like it was kind of like all fun and games until like I was actually committed to it. And then when I sat there with like the realization that I took an action, so I made a decision and then I took action that locked me into that decision. Once I was locked in, I was like, crap, what did I just do? I'm just being real. Like if you don't have that sort of like thought process with the decisions you're making, I can just tell you, you're not making decisions that are going to change you. You're not making decisions that are going to grow you. Bro, I like, earlier I was having a conversation with earlier this week. So real quick, on a side note, many of you know I do high performance coaching, right? And it's it costs a pretty penny for people to work with me. And one guy, shout out, I'm not gonna say his name, but cool dude. I'm actually still talking to him right now. He wanted to do it. However, in that moment, he pulled back, right? He was ready to go, but he got nervous. He got scared. It was a big decision, big financial decision, big personal commitment, because I'm going to hold you accountable, right? You're paying me so that I can produce a transformation in your life. So I'm going to hold you accountable. If you tell me you want something, I'm going to hold you accountable to making sure it happens. And, when he was getting nervous, I told him, listen, the way you're feeling right now is how you should feel. If you're not nervous about making a decision, it's not the right decision. If the decision feels like, it's not that big a deal, that decision isn't really going to change you. If when you sit down and take time to think about what you're really about to do, and it doesn't scare you a little bit, it ain't the right move. Real talk. Like your decisions should, if you're interested in growth, at least, if you're really interested in improving and moving to the next level, your decisions need to scare you just a little bit.
Yes, sir.
And again, if you're not interested in personal growth, stay your ass on the couch. Don't do nothing. Literally.
So, I think that's about a wrap for tonight. I mean, any final words that y'all want to share with people?
All I gotta say is let me get a 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! We out of here.
Good one.